Let me introduce you to Diane Hazard. She's the orphan of a drug-addicted, alcoholic, abusive mother who died at an early age. She has no parental or spousal support. She has 5 children. Her daughter, Love, recently had an illegitimate child whom she couldn't take care of, and the burden has fallen on Diane to raise little Donier. She has struggled to find work, a good job. And considering her lack of training, experience, the federal minimum wage of $5.15 is often the best she can get. Is that a livable wage? Absolutely not. Would Diane be better off with a higher income? Yes. Should we raise the federal minimum wage to help her out? No. Now, I know that may sound harsh, especially since this is the Christmas season. But the truth is, raising minimum wage actually hurts those it's intended to help. Especially people like Diane. Unfortunately, many people don't see it that way. They see it as a linear equation, where the raising a minimum wage sends money straight to the pockets of those who need it most. It sounds like a great way to end poverty, but if it was that simple, why is the gap between the rich and poor actually increasing instead of the other way around? The reality of the situation is much more complicated. So, let's push aside our emotions for a minute and think like economists, because it's all about the law of demand. When the price goes up, the demand goes down. Hypothetically, let's say that the federal minimum wage is raised from $5.15 an hour to $7 an hour. The immediate consequence would be that businesses would have to pay their minimum wage employees an extra $1.85 an hour. That's good news for the 5 minimum wage employees washing dishes in the local restaurant. However, when you give them a raise, all of a sudden, they're at the same level as the cooks. And cooking requires quite a bit more training. Is that fair? No, so you give the cooks a raise. But then the cooks are making as much money as the host, and so on. You can't change one factor without affecting all of them. It's proportional. Now, let's say that the restaurant does make the pay raise all the way up the ladder. It's very likely that the restaurant is not going to have the income to make a business-wide pay raise at the current prices. And since customers most likely aren't going to support a jump in menu prices, the first thing they're going to do is downsize, get by with fewer employees. And often, that means the low-skilled jobs. The 5 employees in the dish room are cut down to 3. 2 lose their jobs, and the rest are expected to work even harder. But the 2 jobs in the dish room aren't the only casualties. The financial crisis that the restaurant now finds itself in prevents it from expansion. Perhaps they were planning on opening up another restaurant in a nearby town with many more jobs. But with the business-wide pay raise, they can no longer afford to do that. And many potential jobs are destroyed. Now, before we start messing with the economy, we need to understand the minimum wage is not meant to be a livable income. It's simply a springboard to better jobs. And be honest, not that many people even make minimum wage. Of all the hourly employees in the United States, only 2.5% make minimum wage or less. And only 2.8% of those people are single parents like Diane. The people making minimum wage aren't destitute breadwinners trying to support a family. They're more likely to be teenagers. They're often kids with no experience, no training. So if we want to help people like Diane, obviously raising minimum wage isn't the way to do it. We cannot use minimum wage as a crutch. So we as voters need to oppose the raising of minimum wage so that people like Diane can get jobs. Maybe then we can better deal with the problems of poverty. Maybe then little Donier can have the life he deserves and see a future filled with hope. Thank you.